We are going to do a full perioral rejuvenation for this patient. Now, I typically don't start with the lips, but because she had a chief complaint of lip lines, I wanted to see how, by adding into the body of the lips, if we could indirectly treat those lip lines. So I'm using a 31 gauge 8 millimeter syringe. I'm using Evolysse Smooth in the lips currently, and I am just performing that vertical tenting technique. I want to build height. Now, what's incredibly important about working with mature tissue is their tissue is very thin. You could see those threads of product when I insert the needle. It's almost like the tissue collapses on the needle because it's so thin. Now, we know we want to be more in that subcutaneous superficial plane because the superior labial artery lives deeper and most likely in that submucosal area, found most commonly in that submucosal plane. So I am trying to stay superficial, but I have to be very mindful because that needle superficially, it can leave some irregularities. You could see the product. So fine threads of product injected are my goal. I'm not going to lay a thick thread of filler because you're going to see that product. But with a product like Evolysse Smooth, I'm not really worried about that because it does integrate so beautifully in those superficial planes. So I'm just really trying to build height. So it will take more pokes for this patient because I don't want to lay large threads. So just going in and performing some vertical tenting, letting the lip tell me where to go. I'm going down to the wet dry border, pulling back ever so slightly, and then laying a nice retrograde thread. It's really, really important that you don't dive too deep. What happens with mature tissue is that when we're when we're training other injectors on what plane to inject, with mature tissue, those are 0.5 millimeters apart. Each plane is a 0.5 millimeter apart. So really it's more of a visual thing. If I can see the shape of the needle, I have to be mindful with my product selection with this type of tissue because, like I said, you don't want to see those threads of product. You want a product that is viscous enough to be placed superficially. So let's work on the bottom lip. I want to see if I can get some good eversion out of that bottom lip. I got some good height out of the top lip. Honestly, I was actually pleasantly surprised with how the top lip performed. So my goal is now to get that same eversion. So I'm using my little old school chicken foot technique where I'm kind of just starting in the middle of that tubercle and then coming in diagonally towards that tubercle. So I usually do 3 or 2 little chicken feet per tubercle in that lower lip. All of my pokes are being geared towards that tubercle. So you'll see me reorienting, but I'm always trying to build up those 2 tubercles while I'm injecting. And then when I get towards the lateral part of the lower lip, I always reorient my needle horizontally because I don't want to add height or eversion in that lateral part of the lower lip, or they have a tendency to look wide. I want that nice tapered appearance towards the oral commissure. So that's why I reorient my needle horizontally. So now working on this side of the lip, I'm really trying to get a little bit more eversion. And I always have a little alcohol in my gauze, but you see how I reorient it right here horizontally? That's because I don't want to add height or eversion. I just want to add product so it still looks full. Getting that lip to evert, and I think it's responding quite well. Like I said, I always have a little bit of alcohol in my gauze and I'm constantly cleaning. So now no lip patient leaves without my nails touching that product. There is such a difference with how the product lays immediately after injection and then post massaging. Always massage your patient. I promise you it will prevent a phone call for lumpy bumpies down the road. So now I'm looking for little breaks in the light reflex to see where I can place a little more of that product. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I did notice that her right upper lip is a little bit her right upper lip cupid's bow is a little bit more dull than her left, but that's kind of her natural asymmetry, and we did talk about that. So now moving on to her perioral region. Nasolabial folds, marionette lines. I always, as you saw, I sit the patient all the way up because I want gravity to play a role. So I'm just marking out my areas: nasolabial fold, marionette line, chin shadow, and pre-jowl sulcus. So right now I'm marking out that nasolabial fold. I'm looking for shadows to project out those shadows. Now, what I find to be really important about this patient is she has a little bit of herniation on that, underneath that lower lip. So I really want to make sure to mask that and not accentuate it by adding more product into it. So laying her back down, my go-to is a 25 by 1.5 inch cannula. So I'm going to start with a 23 gauge needle to create my little entry port. And I always have them look away ever so slightly just to get me a nice, like, clean area to inject and go immediately into plane versus flexing my hand. So I'm working my way up into that nasal ala or piriform region. And I'm always tapping on the door. I only inject retrograde. So I'm working up. Sometimes when you're injecting in the nasolabial fold, right now you're going to hit a little wall, but then you kind of want to push. You see that wall that I'm hitting? And I want to push past it into the pocket. Now remember, this is where that facial artery lives superficially, so it's really important to always be moving that cannula when you're injecting product. So same thing in the lower face. I started off with that 23 gauge needle and inserting my cannula going towards the oral commissure. It can get a little pinchy here, and making sure that I am medial to that fold, if anything, or directly underneath. I don't want to be lateral to it because then I'm going to be contributing to the projection of that jowl. So now going into that chin shadow, I always talk about my little 3 markings here, the marionette line, chin shadow, and pre-jowl sulcus as kind of another chicken foot method that I do. So I feel like I'm just chicken footing the whole face, but just laying small threads of product. Again, I'm constantly going and like painting a coat, coming back, painting a coat. I'm never injecting thick product because you have a tendency to see that product. This tissue is very thin down here. I am using Evolysse Form, which integrates really beautifully into the tissue, so I'm not super concerned about it, but you never know. There's a DAO overlapping with the DLI, so it's so important to just lay small threads so that everything integrates nicely. You see I'm hitting a little bit of resistance. I'm using that smart hand, which is my left hand, to pull counter traction and waiting for those fibers to let me in. I'm never forcibly pushing that cannula through. So I finally got in, and now I'm going to inject some retrograde threads. And then I'm going to always go in, clean my area, and then I always use my thumb. You'll see that right here where I just blend that filler in, and it's a game changer when it comes to really kind of now letting that product work its magic. But you could see it's already starting to take shape. I see a little bit of a deficit here that I want to project, and I'm going to clean the area and then go right back in and lay some small threads. But remember that little herniation area sitting underneath her lower lip? My goal isn't to completely get rid of that or project up the tissue around it, because I think it'll make it look too bulky. So my goal is kind of just soften the shadows there. It won't ever be perfect, but my goal is just to give her a more refreshed, softer appearance, and I feel like that worked wonders there. So now working on the other side, 23 gauge needle and my 25. If you can't find your hole, little tip is you pinch their skin to make them bleed a little bit so you can find that entry hole. And now working up to that piriform region, this one kind of let me through without hitting that wall of resistance pretty nicely. And I'm just laying small retrograde threads. That facial artery is in the plane that I am injecting, so I'm always moving while injecting product. Never stay stationary. Even when using a cannula, you will never see me push a small bolus or any kind of bolus in free-floating tissue. I'm always moving away as I'm injecting product. So remarking out my other chicken foot, 23 gauge needle, 25 by 1.5 inch cannula, which is my workhorse of the day, and working my way up to that oral commissure. It gets a little pinchy. I'm hitting some resistance, using that smart hand to pull counter traction on that tissue, and boom, I'm in that pocket. Looks like I want to keep going a little bit more, and there I am, right there. You could see the depth that I'm at. I'm in that subcutaneous tissue, and now I'm in the chin shadow, going back up to that marionette line. But you see how I just paint these little threads of retrograde product? I'm really just taking my time, performing this treatment. And then now in that pre-gel sulcus, what I love about this technique is you need one entry point to access all three areas, and it's really, really very minimally prone to bruising. If anything, they may experience a little bit of bruising right at that entry point, but other than that, I very rarely experience bruising with this treatment. So I always tell patients, expect bruising, but typically it's right there on the mandible where I enter the cannula. Outside of that, it's very rare that I get any bruising in the actual treatment zone itself. So just laying small threads of product, working my way around. Remember, I'm trying to disguise that marionette line and disguise that little herniation under her lower lip and just kind of clean up the lower face. And going in, wiping my area. Always have alcohol on that gauze, always clean so you're not reintroducing any bacteria into those. And then massaging. I can't tell you how important massage is here for this treatment area. It's very thin tissue, so it is prone to seeing that product, but once you massage and blend it down into the fibers, it really lays so beautifully. So looking at her, I want to sit her back up to see where I can utilize this last little bit of product, because filler is gold, guys. We don't waste filler. So now I'm going to go in and just lay a little bit of what I have left. But remember, always sit them up. There's such a difference between when they're laying back versus when they're sitting up for markings. I highly recommend that. So in this area, remember, always be mindful of that mental artery coming out of that mental foramen and that submental artery sitting, coming off of that facial artery underneath the mandible and popping out at the lateral part of that chin. So now using the last little bit of product that I have left in that nasolabial fold, just to soften that ever so slightly. Now the same thing on the other side, just utilizing that last 0.05 from what it looks like in the syringe just to soften that other nasolabial fold. But I'm obsessed with her results. I think it looks really soft, rejuvenated. Always end with a little bit of massaging. I cannot stress that enough. It will save you from lumpy bumpies. But here's her final before and after. Just a refreshed version of her. Rejuvenated, that undetectable but still noticeable injections. She just looks like a softer version of her.